Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I am working with the Spellbinders September card kit. This was full of some really beautiful papers and stickers and ephemera, and today I'm going to be creating 6 cards using all of those goodies. So I decided for this set of cards I was going to tear my paper. Now I did this because I wanted it to have give a little bit of texture. It didn't quite give the amount of texture that I was looking for. My tears for the most part were just a little bit too clean, but it does give a little bit of a rough edge, something a little different than what I'm usually working with. So I've done these tears in some different sizes. I tried to keep them different for each card, but for this one I am starting with this pretty blue teal. And I'm going to place that right in the center of my card base. So I will use, other than some foam dots, extra foam dots that I used, and some art glitter glue, I have put this together using only what was included in the card kit. So I'm using that roll of double-sided tape. I'm going to lay this across the back here and then peel away the backing. Now I find with this tape it is a lot easier to peel that backing if you use a pokey tool. So I'm just grabbing mine there. We'll get all of this pulled back. And I'm going to place that right in the center of my card base. And then I'll go ahead and trim off the excess from that top and bottom edge. So I have picked out this ephemera of this girl walking her puppy in the rain. This was probably my favorite piece of ephemera. Might be a tie with the rainbow because I always love those. But I did use a bunch of the foam dots that were included to pop that up, give us some dimension. Thought about maybe doing a little extra layer there and then decided not to. I kept all these cards pretty simple. And then I thought maybe I would make sort of some raindrops using these hearts. And I decided not to go with the hearts, but as I'm coming back and looking at this, I do think it looked really nice. So either way I think would be good. But I went more simple. And I'm just gonna finish up with a sentiment that says "Love this" from the foam stickers. And that is going to complete card number 1. For card number 2, I'm working with this really pretty sort of a mustard yellow plaid. I'm going to create a little floral bouquet on top of that. So again, using my ruler, I'm just going to tear one edge of this paper. And then I will go ahead and add some of my double-sided tape directly onto my card base. I'm placing that bottom piece of tape there exactly where I want the edge, that torn edge of my paper to lay. So I want to make sure that's nice and straight. And then of course I will peel away my backings and get that pressed into place. And then again, of course, I will go ahead and trim off all that excess. Now we're going to create that bouquet. So I'm going to use that cluster here for my center. And then I pulled in some of the smaller pieces, some leaves, some extra flowers, and I'm just going to sort of bulk that up a bit by placing some things underneath it, and that'll give me a little bit of dimension as well. I will add some more of these foam dots behind that centerpiece there. I'm gonna go ahead and press that into place. That way I can keep all of the leaves where I would like them to be. Then I'm gonna do a combination. Oh, I've got to pop up this extra flower as well. I wanted that third one in the middle there. Then I'm going to use a combination of some art glitter glue as well as some foam dots to make sure that those other pieces are stuck down okay onto my card front. And then I will also use just maybe 1 or 2 dimensional dots to sort of curve and add some dimension with these leaves. So they'll still be tucked under, but the edges or the tips of them will be popped up a little bit. Just curling up those edges for a little bit of extra dimension. There's my sentiment. That was one of the cardstock stickers. It reads, "There are so many beautiful reasons to smile." Now you'll see when I place that down, I pressed that right on top of both of those leaves. I did go back later, which you'll see in the photos, and I actually pulled that blue leaf out from beneath. It didn't cover any of the sentiment, so I decided for a little more dimension I was going to have that overlapping my sentiment. And then I felt like I needed just a little something more on the top there, so I pulled in 1 more of these blue leaves and added that along that top portion of the bouquet. And that'll complete card number 2. On to card number 3. It is hard to pick a favorite out of these cards, but I think this one probably will win, mostly because of the subject matter. It has books and coffee on it, and I love both books and coffee, so I really enjoyed putting this one together. I love this stripe pattern in the background. These colors are just so pretty. I've gone here, of course, torn off 1 edge, and I'm going to tear off another. I'm trying to save, when I go through and do my backgrounds like this, I always try to keep my extra pieces as large as I can in case I want to use them on another card. So I'm being careful in how I'm measuring things out here and how much I'm taking off of each edge. This bottom portion here, I wanted to have my torn edge all the way around my rectangle. So I'm just taking a tiny bit off of that top and bottom there. And then I will have the smallest of white borders around this when I place it down on top of my card base. I did sort of go along the edges and rough those up a little bit more. Like I said earlier, I was looking for that texture, and that helped sort of tear along the edges a little bit more. But if you do that, you want to be careful that you don't actually, tear a chunk out of what you just cut out there. So I've got my book and coffee ephemera, and I'm going to get these glued down here. Just making sure I've got everything placed where I would like it to be. And then that "and" is one of the cardstock stickers. So I'll just peel away the backing and overlap that over the two of those. I'm going to add a sentiment along the bottom. This is another one of the cardstock stickers, and it reads, "So happy together." And I felt like this needed just a little something more, so I played around with a few of these smaller sort of foam stickers. I place some on, I move them around, and take them off, and then finally, am I there yet? Or do I try something else? Yep, I tried one more, which I did also like, but it just wasn't quite it. Then finally, I spied these little birds, and I thought, oh, those are perfect. So I placed one on the coffee and one on the books, and now it looks complete. And that is card number 3. So for card number 4, when I saw that rainbow and those clouds, I knew that I was definitely going to use those on a card. So that's going to be card number 4. I have pulled in this navy raindrop pattern paper, gone ahead and torn one side, and I'm just measuring out here so I can tear the other side. I'm going to have a little bit of white on the top and bottom with this blue sort of making a stripe across the center. I will, of course, again add my double-sided tape to the back here. And skipping ahead, I have removed the backing. I'm going to place that down on my card base. And then, of course, I will trim off my excess. Making sure that my fold on that is nice and even. And then we'll start laying everything out. I used one of the rainbows and one of each of the clouds. And then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to add some art glitter glue underneath the 2 back clouds. And then for my rainbow and the smallest cloud, I'm going to pop those up using what I have left from those foam dots. I always use every bit of that square of foam. And next I'll add just a small piece to one side of that cloud. Now I can overlap the other side over top of my rainbow. Gonna pull in my sentiment. This is from the cardstock stickers, and it reads "Happy Thoughts." Pulls a little bit more of that pink in there. And there we have card number 4. For card number 5, I was thinking of home, and I really liked the sentiment "Love Lives Here." That's a part of the cardstock stickers. So I'm going to start out here with my background, which is this pattern paper with all of the different houses on it. Some of the houses have a gold foiled heart, which is really nice extra touch. And what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to tear along 2 different sides of my pattern paper, and I'm going to do that so that it creates a corner. And then I'm going to add my sticky, and I'm going to place that down on my card base, leaving one sort of white corner border. So I'm going to try and keep this as even as I can from the side and the bottom to have that little corner stand out. Just something different. Always trying to come up with different layouts and things for these cards. Peeling away that tape so that I can save this extra piece of pattern paper in case I might use it on another card. And now I'm going to lay out everything in its place. Sort of my centerpiece is going to be that green chair. In my mind, that's sort of a very plush green velvety chair. It just has that look to it for me. And then I've got a book that reads Our Story. And I've also pulled in one of the little glasses. You need your reading glasses for your book. And then a butterfly. And I folded that butterfly in the middle so that it could give a little bit of extra dimension once that's placed down. So both the chair and the book I am using art glitter glue on, and then the glasses I'm going to put some foam dots behind. They were just a little bit taller than I wanted them to be. Because this is a small piece, I wanted to give it dimension, but I didn't want to have it be sticking up too much. So I took my scissors and just trimmed that foam in half. So we've got a little bit of dimension, but not too much. Go ahead here and place down my sentiment. And lastly, I'll put a little glue on the center of that butterfly and add that on the back of my chair. And there we have card number 5. For card number 6, I am going to trim out a piece of this red checkerboard pattern paper to 3 by 4 inches. So I'm tearing this here first at 3 inches, and then I will trim that down to 4, making sure I'm tearing on all 4 sides so I get that little bit of texture. And then from here, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, making sure that my border on all 4 sides is even. I've added some of my double-sided tape behind here, and I'm going to place this down right in the center of my card base. And then I've got this umbrella full of flowers here. I have now run out of my foam dots that came in the kit, so I am using some of the other Spellbinders dots. And then I'm going to place that down on top of my background here. And lastly, finish that up with a sentiment that reads, "My greatest joy." Pulling in a little bit more of that green from those leaves with the flowers. And that is going to complete our 6th and final card. Here are a few close-ups of the finished cards. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I've used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.